In Hinduism, stories involving the Nagas are still very much a part of contemporary cultural traditions in predominantly Hindu regions of Asia, India, Nepal, and the island of Bali. In India, Nagas are considered nature spirits and the protectors of springs, wells and rivers. They bring rain, and thus fertility, but are also thought to bring disasters such as floods and drought. Nagas are snakes that may take human form. They tend to be very curious. According to traditions, Nagas are only malevolent to humans when they have been mistreated. They are susceptible to mankind's disrespectful actions in relation to the environment. They are also associated with waters, rivers, lakes, seas, and wells and are generally regarded as guardians of treasure. They are objects of great reverence in some parts of South India, where it is believed that they bring fertility and prosperity to their venerators. Expensive and grand rituals like the Nagamanda and the Nagaradhan are conducted in their honor. Another example comes from South India. Women gather at Hindu temples to worship Nagas. At the temples, the Nagas take the form of snakes carved into stones. Hindu women gather around the stones to make offerings to the female snake goddesses. These goddesses are believed to make women fertile, protect the woman and her family, and bring prosperity. The snake goddess is represented as an anthill or a snake that lives inside an anthill or stones with snake carvings on them. In each form, women of South India honor the Nagas with offerings. Hindus believe a person who harms or kills a snake will be inflicted with a condition known as Nagadosam, which causes infertility and delays in marriage. Nagadosam can only be reversed through varying degrees of worship to Naga. A third example comes from certain communities called Nagavansi, including those of Kerala and the ethnically related Jain Bunts of Karnataka. These communities trace their ancestry to Nagas. Nagas are also worshipped in the Dugnagari region of Kumaon region of Uttarakhand. Nagpuri, from Nagpuri or city of Nagas, corresponds to the town of Barinag and is home to many temples devoted to Nagas, namely Dhalanag, Kalanag, Fananag, Bashukanag, Pingalanag and Harinag. Nagas live in Paitala, the seventh of the nether dimensions or realms. They are the children of Kashyapa and Kadru. Among the prominent Nagas of Hinduism are Manasa, the Nagaru or king of the Nagas, Siu and Vasuki. Nagas also carry the elixir of life and immortality. Garuda once brought it to them and put a cup with elixir on Kushal grass, but it was taken away by Indra. The Nagas licked the Kushal grass, but in doing so cut their tongues on the grass, and since then their tongues have been forked. The serpent is a common feature in Ganesha iconography and appears in many forms: around the neck, used as a sacred thread, wrapped around the stomach as a belt, held in a hand, coiled at the ankles, or as a throne. Shiva is often shown garlanded with a snake. Mal states that Patanjali is thought to be a manifestation of the serpent of eternity. In Buddhism, traditions about Nagas are also very common in all the Buddhist countries of Asia. In many countries, the Naga concept has been merged with local traditions of great and wise serpents or dragons such as the Burmese Nat. In Tibetan religion, the Naga was equated with the Klu that dwell in lakes or underground streams and guard treasure. In China, the Naga was equated with the Chinese dragon. The Buddhist Naga generally has the form of a great cobra, usually with a single head but sometimes with many. At least some of the Nagas are capable of using magic powers to transform themselves into a human semblance. In Buddhist painting, the Naga is sometimes portrayed as a human being with a snake or dragon extending over his head. One Naga, in human form, attempted to become a monk. When telling it that such ordination was impossible, the Buddha told it how to ensure that it would be reborn a human, able to become a monk. Nagas on copper pillar in Kulu, in the Devadatta chapter of the Lotus Sutra, the daughter of the Dragon King, an 8-year-old Long-Nu, Naga, after listening to Manjusri preach the Lotus Sutra, transforms into a male bodhisattva and immediately reaches full enlightenment. This tale appears to reinforce the viewpoint prevalent in Mahayana scriptures that a male body is required for Buddhahood, even if a being is so advanced in realization that they can magically transform their body at will and demonstrate the emptiness of the physical form itself. Nagas are believed to both live on Mount Meru, among the other minor deities, and in various parts of the human-inhabited earth. Some of them are water dwellers, living in streams or the ocean. Others are earth dwellers, living in underground caverns. The Nagas are the servants of Virupaka, one of the 4 heavenly kings who guards the western direction. They act as a guard upon Mount Sumeru, protecting the devas of Trastrisa from attack by the Asuras. Among the notable Nagas of Buddhist tradition is Mukalinda, Naguru and protector of the Buddha. In the Vinaya Sutra, shortly after his enlightenment, the Buddha is meditating in a forest when a great storm arises, but graciously, King Mukalinda gives shelter to the Buddha from the storm by covering the Buddha's head with his 7 snake heads. Then the king takes the form of a young Brahmin and renders the Buddha homage. It is noteworthy that the 2 chief disciples of the Buddha, Sariputta and Moggallana, are both referred to as Mahanaga or Great Naga. Some of the most important figures in Buddhist history symbolize Nagas in their names, such as Dignaga, Nagasena, and, although other etymons are assigned to his name, Nagarjuna. In the Vajrayana and Mahasiddha traditions, Nagas in their half-human form are depicted holding a Naga jewel, Kumas of Amrita, or a terma that had been elementally encoded by adepts. Norbu states that according to tradition, the Prajnaparamita terma are held to have been conferred upon Nagarjuna by the Nagarua, who had been guarding them at the bottom of the lake. Other traditions. Naga at the steps of a building in the Wat for a queue in Bangkok for Malay sailors. Nagas are a type of dragon with many heads. In Thailand and Java, the Naga is a wealthy underworld deity. In Laos they are beaked water serpents. China. 8 dragon kings who assembled at the gathering where Shakyamuni preached the Lotus Sutra, as described in the sutra. Kumarajiva's translation of the Lotus Sutra refers to them by their Sanskrit names: Nanda, Upananda, Sagara, Vasuki, Takshaka, Anavitapta, Manasvin, and Utpalaka. According to the introduction, first chapter of the Lotus Sutra, each attends the gathering accompanied by several hundreds of thousands of followers. Thailand. In Thailand, Nagas figure in some stories of the Thai folklore and are represented as well in what's as architectural elements. Fire Naga is a well-known Naga said to live in the Mekong. The Thai television soap opera Manai Sawat is based on a Naga legend. In the Thai zodiac of the Thai lunar calendar, which is based on the Buddhist lunar solar calendar, the dragon is often depicted as a Naga. Malaysia. In Malay and Orang Asli traditions, the Lake Chini, located in Pahang, is home to a Naga called Sri Gumam. Depending on legend versions, her predecessor Sri Pahang or her son left the lake and later fought a Naga called Sri Kamboa. Kamboa is the former name of what is Cambodia. Like the Naga legends there are stories about an ancient empire in Lake Chini, although the stories are not linked to the Naga legends. Cambodia. Cambodian 7-headed Naga at the royal palace in Phnom Penh. In a Cambodian legend, the Naga were a reptilian race of beings under the king Kaliya who possessed a large empire or kingdom in the Pacific Ocean region until they were chased away by the Garuda and sought refuge in India. It was here Kaliya's daughter married an Indian Brahmana named Kaundinya, and from their union sprang the Cambodian people. Therefore, Cambodians possess a slogan born from the Naga. As a dowry, Kaliya drank up the water that covered the country and exposed the land for his daughter and son-in-law to inhabit, and thus, Cambodia was created. The seven-headed Nagas depicted as statues on Cambodian temples such as Angkor Wat apparently represent the seven races within Naga society, which has a mythological, or symbolic, association with the seven colors of the rainbow. Furthermore, Cambodian Naga possess numerological symbolism in the number of their heads. Odd-headed Naga symbolize the male energy, infinity, timelessness, and immortality. This is because, numerologically, all odd numbers come from 1. Even-headed Naga are said to be female, representing physicality, mortality, temporality, and the earth. Naga guarding Envong's Wat Sisakit in Vientiane, Laos. Naga are believed to live in the Laotian stretch of the Mekong or its estuaries. Lao mythology maintains that the Naga are the protectors of Vientiane, and by extension, the Lao state. The Naga association was most clearly articulated during and immediately after the reign of Envong. An important poem from this period, Sanlup Phasun, discusses relations between Laos and Thailand in a veiled manner, using the Naga and the Garuda to represent the Lao and the Thai, respectively. 28. The Naga is incorporated extensively into Lao iconography, and features prominently in Lao culture throughout the length of the country, not only in Vientiane. Indonesia. Crown golden Naga wood carving at Keraton Yogyakarta, Java. In Javanese and Balinese culture, Indonesia, a Naga is depicted as a crowned giant magical serpent, sometimes winged. It is similarly derived from the Shiva Hinduism tradition, merged with Javanese animism. Naga in Indonesia mainly derived and influenced by Indic tradition of Naga serpent, combined with native animism tradition of sacred serpent. The early depiction circa 9th century Central Java closely resembled Indic Naga, which was based on cobra imagery. The later depiction since the 15th century, however, was slightly influenced by Chinese dragon imagery, although unlike its Chinese counterparts, Javanese and Balinese Nagas do not have legs. The concept of Naga is prevalent in the Hindu period of Indonesia, before the introduction of Islam. It is usually linked as the lesser deity of earth and water. In a Wayang theatre story, a snake, Naga, god named Sang Ayang Anantaboga or Antaboga, is a guardian deity in the bowels of the earth. Naga symbolize the nether realm of earth or underworld. Philippines. In many parts of pre-Hispanic Philippines, the Naga is used as an ornament in the hilt ends of long swords locally known as campilans. Naga other names are Marandaga, Maranaga, Majinaga are type of freshwater mermaids, but instead of having fish tails they have eels and or water snakes for tails and the upper body of a human female having a luring face, curvaceous body and long flowing hair. Vicious to adults but gentle to children, are considered the protectors of springs, wells and rivers. They bring rain, and thus fertility, but are also thought to bring disasters such as floods and drought. Nagas are snake-like mermaids that may take human form. They tend to be very curious. According to traditions, Nagas are only malevolent to humans when they have been mistreated. They are susceptible to mankind's disrespectful actions in relation to the environment. They are also associated with waters, rivers, lakes, seas, and wells, and are generally regarded as guardians of treasure. In other beliefs, the most powerful of the Nagas became as goddess named Bakinawa. She is captivated by the beauty of the seven moons and turned herself into a giant dragon serpent in order to reach them, but the deity Bathala punished her, so she remained in her dragon state for all eternity,